Hello there. Welcome to Just the Dis. We talk about Blu-rays here. My name is Brian, and I have a bunch of recent pickups that I want to talk about in this video. I'm going to get right into it. Some of these I haven't even opened yet. They're brand new arrivals, and this is one of them. This is Hills Have Eyes 4K UHD from Arrow. I must really love this movie because I had my previous Blu-ray box still sealed on my shelf, which now I've sold for almost no money, when this was announced. So, I don't know. I guess I just am a Wes Craven completist, and I'm also a huge fan of the Arrow 4Ks. So, they just kind of hook me with this stuff, and so I couldn't help myself. So I may have to actually watch the movie again. It's been a while. This is from 1977, following up Last House on the Left. And you can see it's got a brand new 4K restoration, both in original and alternate endings. I think a lot of this stuff is pretty much the same features, although don't quote me on that. There may be some additional stuff added here. I didn't do a side-by-side comparison, but... And I haven't even checked out the 4K yet, but I'll be honest, I have yet to be disappointed by an Arrow 4K, so I know I'm going to like this one, and I'm not worried about it at all. But that's my first pickup from Arrow, and then I grabbed another one. This is just the collector thing, folks. You know, I like Children of the Corn. I don't love Children of the Corn. However, this was on sale, I want to say during or before Black Friday, maybe. I can't remember, but I bought it when it was on sale for at least 50% off. And so I was like, okay, 50% off I'll do, especially again because I haven't been disappointed in Arrow 4K yet. And, you know, I do like this movie, and I'm fascinated by the fact that it has so many sequels, like 6 or 8 or some ridiculous amount. So here are the features for this one, and I don't have... the previous, I think, Arrow edition to compare. Again, I'm not sure how much of this stuff is new, but obviously I'm all about the 4K from them. And, you know, it's a Stephen King adaptation. It's enjoyable. One of the few Killer Kid movies that works for me. A lot of them don't. But still, I picked it up because of the, you know, Arrow of it. You know, I mean, you guys... I'm sure have this with certain labels where you're like, I have some interest in that movie, but I know the company and I know the quality of releases that they do, and thus I must get this. So that's what happens sometimes. Okay, I got several here from Paramount. I will start with Heaven Can Wait. Actually, a couple Warren Beatty movies in a row. And this one is just a delightful film, and one that I hadn't seen for a long time. It's from 1978, and it is, I want to say it's a remake of the film by the same name, Heaven Can Wait, but it might be a remake of Here Comes Mr. Jordan, or I can't remember if those two are like sequels to each other. Those are classic films. This one has a script by Warren Beatty and Elaine May, which I think is wonderful. And yeah, it's about a football player named Joe Pendleton, played by Warren Beatty, who is a backup quarterback for the LA Rams, and at the beginning of the film, he gets tapped to start for the team on their way to a Super Bowl. You know, like they're doing well and that kind of stuff. And in his haste to prep for his first start, I think, for the team, he gets in an accident in a tunnel. And it's like he rides his bike into a tunnel and 2 cars are coming in, and we don't see the actual impact, but he is pulled away up into not heaven, but like a way station to heaven. And we find out that he's just like, wait a minute, this is a mistake. I don't know what happened, but you guys got this wrong. It's not my time yet. I've got a lot of stuff happening. And so then you come to find out that he actually wasn't supposed to be dead until like 2025 or something like that. And so they realize they made a mistake, and then they have to go down and try and put him back into a new body. This is Buck Henry is the like escort it's his first time, and he pulled him out too early or something. So he wouldn't have been dead, I guess. And then James Mason plays Mr. Jordan, who's kind of like the supervisor or something. And so they're trying to find a body to put him into because his old body has been cremated. And so they find the body of this rich guy named Leo Farnsworth. And, Joe's kind of like, just make this a temporary thing, because they find people that are about to die and they can slide somebody into that, or a soul or a presence into it right before they go. And so that's what they're doing here, is they slide him into the body of Leo Farnsworth just before he's meant to be murdered. And then it's just this whole crazy, pretty hilarious story of him trying to make Leo into a guy who can actually play quarterback for the LA Rams, while also sort of fixing some of the bad things that he did, and also dealing with Diane Cannon and Charles Grodin, who are his secretary, private secretary, that's Grodin, and his wife, respectively, who are trying to murder him, who want him out of the picture. And it's just really funny because, if you look at how the Leo Farnsworth guy is behaving, he looks like a lunatic. And so it's pretty funny to see him try to explain what's happening to the few people that he does, like the Jack Warden character, this trainer that he works with for the LA Rams, trying to explain to him no, it's really me, Joe. And it's super funny. So anyway, very wonderful film and a nice Blu-ray presentation. I think the debut of the Blu-ray format for this, and no features, but just a really good movie. So that's Heaven Can Wait. And speaking of good movies, Reds. This is written, I want to say, at least in part, written by and directed by Warren Beatty. I could be getting the written by wrong. But it is a really powerful, epic movie. And a great performance by Warren Beatty. A great performance by Diane Keaton. And one of Jack Nicholson's sneaky best performances ever is in this film. And this one, it's Golden Globe winning epic masterpiece set against the tumultuous start of the 20th century, features an unforgettable mix of based on true events drama with real life testimonials from, quote, witnesses. And it's done in sort of a quasi-documentary style, if I remember. And that's a really cool device that wasn't being done a lot, especially when this film came out. And I want to say it came out in 1981. Let's see here. Yeah, real life testimonials. Yeah. So Beatty and Diane Keaton portray activists Louise Bryant and John Reed, two journalists whose romance is punctuated by the outbreak of World War I and the Bolshevik Revolution, featuring incredible supporting cast including Jack Nicholson, Edward Herrmann, Paul Sorvino, Gene Hackman. Oh, he's great in this too. Maureen Stapleton in her Oscar-winning role. Just an amazing epic. And this one has tons of features. You see all these different featurettes. It's broken down into The Rising, Comrades, Testimonials, The March, Revolution Part 1, Revolution Part 2, Propaganda. And so you get a whole overview of the movie. And it's just great. And this is, I believe, a Blu-ray debut as well from Paramount, who has been doing a really nice job this year with their catalog. I've been really excited by the stuff they've been putting out. So you get a couple nice Warren Beatty releases from Paramount in Reds and Heaven Can Wait. Then we get a Paramount Presents title, Vanilla Sky. This is Cameron Crowe's remake of Abre los Ojos, Spanish sort of fantasy thriller. So you have a rich guy, played by Tom Cruise, who kind of gets involved with the wrong lady, and Cameron Diaz in this film. And I'm going to spoil just the beginning. If you don't want to know what happens in the beginning of Vanilla Sky, then maybe you can skip ahead. But he starts seeing her as sort of a friends with benefits sort of scenario, and ultimately she's not into that. He's like a big, I want to say what does it say on the back here? Cameron Crowe reunites with producer Tom Cruise in mind-bending roller coaster comedy Suspicion, Love, Sex, and Dreams, based on 1997's Abre los Ojos. Oh, and Penelope Cruz, who is in that film, and she's in this too. Vanilla Sky's soul-searching story is set in New York City. Proud to spotlight releases for collectors and fans. Oh, that's just their mantra for the thing. I can't remember what he does. I think he runs a magazine or something. He's a real rich dude. And so, yeah, he gets involved with Cameron Diaz, and she's not really satisfied with the relationship that they have. And she decides she's going to kill herself by driving a car off a bridge with him in the car. And she does. And he is horribly injured, and his face is completely smashed. And he has to wear a mask, a white, Phantom of the Opera type mask. But then a lot of the movie is couched in this mental institution or some kind of place where he's in some sort of cell or some room that feels like an interrogation room, wearing the mask. And Kurt Russell plays a psychologist or psychiatrist that's trying to examine with him what's happened, why he is wearing this mask, and what went on. And so that's sort of the flashback structure, is through the lens of that methodology. And it's a really interesting movie. It's sometimes tough to buy, for me, Tom Cruise as like this ugly, pathetic guy. I that's hard, even when you see that his face is totally mangled. There's something that doesn't quite sit right with me, but I still like the movie. And this one, as with all these Paramount Presents, has a new filmmaker focus from Cameron Crowe, commentary from Cameron Crowe and Nancy Wilson, alternate ending HD, Prelude to a Dream, Hitting It Hard, an interview with Paul McCartney, music video, a lot of stuff being ported over from the DVD, which was a nice special edition DVD. But you do get the new conversation with Crowe. I want to say it's less than 10 minutes, but still, an interesting film, and one that I find really intriguing within the context of the other work that Cameron Crowe has done. He never really did another thriller like this. So I know it just kind of stands out in that way. Again, not my favorite of his films, but still an interesting entry. Next up, we have a new pickup from Scream Factory, Dracula, Dead and Loving It, Mel Brooks's vampire spoofy thing. And this one I haven't seen in a while, but I've been into showing my family. Sorry, I'm just taking a sticker off here. I don't usually do this on camera, but they put the sticker over the back, and I don't like it when I get stickers on new movies. Anyway. So, Immortal Mel Brooks offers up a comedy transfusion with Dracula, Dead and Loving It. Fantastic spoof in the vein of Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, and Spaceballs. I think we all know this one doesn't necessarily live up to, let's say, Young Frankenstein level or the level of any of those, but I still find it amusing and entertaining. At least I remember liking it. Leslie Nielsen sinks his teeth into the role of the legendary vampire, while Brooks himself portrays his adversary Van Helsing in a battle where the stakes have never been higher, featuring supporting roles by Steven Weber, Amy Yazbek, Lizette Anthony, Peter McNichol, I forgot he was in this, and the great Harvey Korman. Dracula, Dead and Loving It is Brooks at his battiest and bloody hilarious. Mel and his movies, Dracula, Dead and Loving It featurette, Making of Dracula, Dead and Loving It, audio commentary with writer-director Mel Brooks and actor Steven Weber and Amy Yazbek, as well as co-writers Rudy DeLuca and Steve Haberman. Can't wait to listen to that. And I don't know if that's new or not. These may be old DVD special features, but regardless, I definitely wanted to get this on Blu-ray. And like I said, I love showing the horror comedies to my kids. Like, I find it's a great avenue into straight horror, and anytime I can show them something funny and then bounce off of it into a real version of that thing, like a real Dracula vampire movie of some kind that might work, I love to do that. I think it's a great setup and teeing up of genre for young people, and I make it my mission to make my kids horror movie fans, so that's what I've been working on for a long time, and this will help. So that's Dracula, Dead and Loving It. Then we have L.A. Story from Lionsgate. This one with Steve Martin. Mick Jackson directed. L.A. Story is legendary comedian, actor, author Steve Martin's love letter to the city of Los Angeles, city of angels. Being in a magical city with a predictably pleasant weather can make the life of a meteorologist seem monotonous. When TV weatherman Harris Telemacher begins receiving secret messages from electronic freeway sign, he leaves his longtime girlfriend and embarks on a frivolous romance with a vapid young model He leaves Mary Lou Henner to go to Sarah Jessica Parker, which ultimately leads him to true love with the woman of his dreams, Victoria Tennant. Beloved by generations of movie fans, L.A. Story reminds us anything is possible and real love can be found. This has deleted scenes and outtakes. Oh, to be in L.A., Mick Jackson's L.A. Story, The Story of L.A. Story, The L.A. of L.A. Story. I love these titles. And I just remember it being a very fun, silly L.A. meta movie, and a movie that I remember seeing before I myself moved to California and thought, isn't that really funny? And then I came out here, and some of it is comedy and some of it is kind of true to life. So it's a very fun movie, and it's the 30th anniversary Blu-ray. I think this is the debut of L.A. Story on Blu-ray, so I can't wait to show this one. Again, some just straight comedies are fun for the family, and this is one I'm going to show also to my kids because I like to show them comedies, and we all need a little comedy these days. So L.A. Story, very excited to have that on Blu-ray. And then last but not least, and definitely not a comedy, this is one of the most interesting releases from Severin Films in recent memory. Obviously part of an MGM deal that they did, which would have included things like Overboard, and maybe some future titles, I'm guessing. But All or Nothing is a film by Mike Leigh, which is the first Mike Leigh film that Severin's ever released. And that's pretty cool because he's a pretty amazing filmmaker. And as you can see, this cast includes Timothy Spall, one of his stalwarts, Leslie Manville, Allison Garland, James Corden, Ruth Sheen, Marion Bailey, Paul Jessen, Sam Kelly, and Catherine Hunter. And it says, with Secrets and Lies, Happy-Go-Lucky, and Naked, writer-director Mike Leigh has been called the unsparing poet of the British working class. And with this overlooked classic made between Oscar-winning Topsy-Turvy and Oscar-nominated Vera Drake, Leigh explores the anger, alienation, broken dreams that define the everyday lives of three families in a low-income London housing project. Timothy Spall, Oscar nominees Leslie Manville and Sally Hawkins, Ruth Sheen, Daniel Mays, and Emmy winner James Corden star in Mike Leigh's masterpiece, winner of 2003 London Critics Awards. So yeah, it's just a really... these stories are so neat because Mike Leigh develops his scripts with his actors. They develop the characters and the scripts together in a really unique way. And a lot of it is working out the story based on character. So it's rooted directly in character, which the actors help create. And then the script and story spring out of that. It's a very specific way to work, but it creates a very unique film at the end of the day. And Timothy Spall is one of the great actors. I think if you haven't seen Mr. Turner, that's an incredible performance by Timothy Spall in another Mike Leigh movie, one of a few period films that he's done. Obviously Topsy-Turvy being another. Actually, he's done several. What am I talking about? But I really like Mike Leigh and his methods and the acting and the behavior that you get out of the characters that are built by the actors. It's just a different way into the material, and you can feel it in the performances and in the films. So I really love that Severin put this out. This has writer Mike Leigh on All or Nothing, cinematographer Dick Pope on All or Nothing, and Love Thy Neighbor interviews with actors Marion Bailey, James Corden, Leslie Manville, Daniel Mays, and Ruth Sheen. No Timothy Spall, unfortunately. But still, again, Severin Films, who, is along the lines of a Vinegar Syndrome in terms of the genre output, which is their sort of bread and butter. I love that they're putting out this, very artful, poetic, moving film. I just really respect the heck out of that. And I am very curious to see what else they got maybe in this MGM deal that's going to put out, allow them to put out more stuff along the lines of this. That'll just be a surprise left field thing. But if you're into Mike Leigh, he's got a lot of stuff that's Criterion worthy, and he's just a great filmmaker. This is worth picking up. This is not your average Severin release, and I like Severin's output in general, but I really do respect the heck out of this. So All or Nothing, that's it for this group. I will be back soon with more stuff to talk about. There's always a lot to talk about, but enjoy yourselves, enjoy your Blu-rays, enjoy physical media, and I'll see you very shortly.